How do you do, my fellow War Thunder players? I hope you're having a fantastic day, and an even better day now that you've clicked on this video. I have some rather exciting news, at least this is exciting news to me. If you turn your attention to the screen for a moment and not use this video as a podcast, you will see Python 3 missiles, but not only that, they are on an F-16. We have Python 3s on an F-16, which basically means, what I'm trying to say is that this very well may be my new favorite top tier jet once the update comes out. GE for War Thunder is an app available on the Google Play Store that lets you earn Golden Eagles for free. Complete tasks of varying difficulty to determine how much GE you actually earn. Just one day of premium time is less than 200 Golden Eagles, which you can easily obtain through the app. Take advantage of this and have a weekend grind session to race to your favorite top tier jets. Use the code in the description down below for 10 extra Golden Eagles. The Python 3 is going to be available on the F-16A nets, which is what you see on screen right here. It's going to be on the Kurnus 2000. The Kurnus 2000 is going to lose the Sparrows and drop down to 11.3 battle rating with the Pythons. And then also the Kfir C7 and Kfir C2 are also going to get Pythons. Aside from the Israeli tech tree, the new J8F in the Chinese tech tree is also going to have Pythons. I believe they're called PL8 in the Chinese Air Force language, but they're the same missile. It's the exact same missile. The PL8 is a Python 3. The J8F also is going to have HMD, similar to the MiG-29, to be able to use those Pythons. It's the only plane that is going to have an HMD to use the Pythons with. 6 Pythons and HMD sounds like it's going to be a pretty good time, so I will probably be playing that plane a lot too once the update rolls around. For those of you who do not understand the significance of just how good this missile really is, I will break it down for you real quick. You basically have the Seeker of a Magic 2 as far as flare resistance goes. This means that your flare resistance is the exact same level as post-nerf 9L, which, as you guys know, unless you drop your throttle down past 100%, in most planes, you cannot flare the 9L rear aspect, the old 9L rear aspect. And this is true for the Python 3 as well. You're going to have to cut your throttle, cut your afterburner, drop to probably at least 70 to 50% if you're in an F-14, even lower, in order to actually flare this thing rear aspect. However, it is of course an all aspect IR missile, so you don't have to shoot it in rear aspect. And let me tell you, this thing's flight performance, I guess you want to call it the kinetic performance, whatever you want to say, it is absolutely bonkers. The pure acceleration of this missile off of the rail is pretty much identical to that of a PL5, maybe a little bit slower, but it is up there. It is quick off the rail, and its motor burn time is extremely short. You guys know I love the PL5, the Python is just a PL5 on steroids. This thing has the same range as a PL5, if not a little bit further. It's got the range of the 9L, somewhere around there, but it doesn't have nowhere near the burn time because the motor accelerates so quickly and burns out so quickly, it spends most of that time gliding, and it's gliding pretty damn fast. What this means is that whoever you launch at is not going to see the missile indicator for very long at all, and by the time the missile indicator is off of their screen, the Python's probably got another 2 to 3 kilometers of glide time to go, and that's a lot of time in the air without a missile indicator. So kinetically, this thing is pretty much going to be the strongest missile in the game. It struggles a little bit with close range launches just because it has the same syndrome as PL5 syndrome, to where it accelerates so quickly off the rail, it's not going to be able to pull the angle it needs to, and the closure rate in the short amount of time that you need to get a close range shot off. You're actually going to see in this clip here, I'm going to try to shoot a very close range missile at somebody that's flying towards me very fast, and unfortunately the Python just accelerates too quickly to actually be able to pull in time. In fact, here it is. An R60M could have probably pulled the lead for that shot because it's slower and it can pull pretty hard still. The Python can pull harder than an R60M, but it's just too quick. It's closing the distance too fast by the time it starts actually pulling. So close range performance, the Python is not the best, but all in all, it's got every other advantage you can possibly have, and I think this thing is easily going to be the best IR missile at top tier. As far as pure G limit like pooling goes for the Python, I believe it was 40 on the last dev server, which is the most in the entire game right now as far as I'm aware of. Of course, there was the R73, but it's not technically in game anymore. I did say at the beginning of this video that I think the F-16A Nets is probably going to become my favorite top tier once the Pythons make it to the live server. I don't know for sure, but that's my suspicion. Just because I really like a PL5, for example. I love a really strong IR missile. I think it's probably the best way to play, best way to pick people off and get a lot of kills quickly and have as many opportunities for kills as possible. You know, SARs are really cool, don't get me wrong, I like a good radar guided missile, but the problem is that no matter how good your radar guided missile is, if somebody is competent at top tier and they know how to avoid them, just fly right over the ground, you're not going to be killing them, and it's pretty unreliable. It's always going to tell them that they're being shot at, so they're always going to know that they have to take the appropriate defensive measures to not die to it. A good IR missile, on the other hand, is not going to let them know that they are being shot at, and therefore, in theory, your likelihood of actually getting a killing shot on them is going to go up a lot more. The reality of top tier, though, is that most people are still going to be dying to SARs pretty damn often. I do myself. Sometimes you just can't always do what you have to do to avoid them. But I do think that SARs are a little bit more stronger in practice than they should be in theory. And since that's the case, I don't think by any means that the Nets is going to become the new best top tier jet. The MiG-29 is still going to be the Metamobile. You've got the 27ARs, you got 4R60s on HMD. You got a wonderful flight model, just a fantastic plane all around, so the MiG-29 is not going anywhere. However, I do think I will really enjoy the F-16 Nets. On top of that, the F-16A models are better as far as flight performance goes than the ADF models. So the F-16A Block 10, the F-16A Block 10 Nets, and the F-16AJ have better flight models than the ADF F-16s, the ones with radar-guided Sparrows. Granted, the AJ has Sparrows as well, but that's the one exception. And so I'm really happy that the good F-16 is the one that gets Pythons, and I'm hoping that it's going to resemble some form of J7 style of gameplay, just with a plane that I like more than the J7. I was really hyped for the F-16 to replace the J7 as my favorite top tier jet, but we saw how that turned out. I really hated the F-16 flight model, but this might be the one redeeming quality. So I'm really excited for it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you again real soon.